What's good, people? It's your boy Mac Attack, back at it again with some more boxing news, views, and opinions. Let's get it. So, Frank Martin and Shakur Stevenson, the drama keep unfolding more and more and more. Now, it's a specific reason that I don't cover boxing every day. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, I'm waiting on my new PC because this PC done been pushed to the limit. It's always rumors coming out in boxing. That's why you can't go off of nothing. If you see my last video, between my last video and the video I'm dropping right now that you watching right now, look how much shit done happened, right? Look how much back and forth, the fight is happening, the fight ain't happening, he ducked, I ain't ducked nothing, he wanted half, no I didn't. And then on top of that, you just gotta think about the players involved. Bud and Shakur got one thing in common: when they actually making a fight is when they not talking. When Bud was making the Errol Spence fight, that's when he wasn't talking, when he wasn't doing interviews, when he wasn't on social media. When he wasn't trying to make the fight and he had some other shit up his sleeve and already knew he had another opponent, that's when he was doing all the tweeting, all the talking. We seen the most Twitter fingers from Bud that we ever seen, and that's a trend with Shakur. When Shakur know he's not finna fight somebody, that's who he start trying to go real hard calling out. You know what I'm saying? I'ma say this one more time: Shakur Stevenson be vaping, man. He don't be wanting no real smoke, he just be vaping. I'm not saying that he don't believe he could beat these guys, I'm not saying that he's not one of the most talented in the division, but think about it like this: he this talented fighter having all this problem getting fights with other guys. What's the difference between Tank Davis, who you know he could pretty much fight anybody he want that he call out, or anybody that call him out, he could get the fight made, and somebody like Shakur Stevenson, who it seemed like could never get no good fights with nobody? He always calling everybody out, but he's never getting these fights. I doubt it's because everybody is just scared to get in the ring with him. It's a combination of his timing and the way he go about it. He come across like, you remember Scrappy Doo from Scooby-Doo? He had the little dog, let me at him, let me at him. He come across like that. He always just barking, then he back and forth on social media. I understand, like, you know, he young. His wife, she kind of like a social media star, you know, she came from a reality show and stuff like that. Like, so I understand, man, like, you know, trying to market yourself. But here's the thing about Shakur Stevenson as well. Shakur Stevenson, man, he got about 5-6 bosses. So when he said that Frank Martin wanted 50-50, and you know, the word that came down the pipeline was more like it was like 25-75, something along those lines, that probably feel like 50-50 to Shakur, because right away 40 of his points probably going to Jay Prince Jr., you know what I'm saying, and whoever else, and then Bob Arum, and then whoever else, and then he finally gets some money. So he trying to get the most out of every situation. And the people behind him, of course, they want him to get the most out of every situation, because the more he get paid, the more that they get paid. It's just funny, you don't see Shakur getting those fights like that. Now I see today, shout out to Knockout Boxing 86 TV, he say Shakur Stevenson and Edwin de Los Santos is official. Now, you think this fight just got made? You think they just made this fight? And you think it's somehow De Los Santos got this team, or he earned this spot to fight Shakur or something like that, or you know what I'm saying, earned so much respect? No, that fight been made. That fight been in the pipeline, been in discussion. They made the fight easy. You know what I mean? The people he calling out, anytime you see him calling people out on social media, that mean he not finna fight him. That mean he not finna fight him. You know what I'm saying? And that's the trend. So now it's looking like the Frank Martin and Shakur Stevenson fight is off, you know, or it's not happening no time soon. Now we got another rumor, shout out to AM Sports Media. They are saying that part of the things with negotiations breaking down was availability for a camp for Frank Martin, because Derrick James already had some other fighters he was working with in camp. Now, I can see how that can be a conflict of interest if he's working with these new fighters, Anthony Joshua, Ryan Garcia, and he's putting them as a priority over Frank Martin's biggest opportunity of his career so far. I would definitely take that personal. I was seeing on Knockout Channel as well, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to my boy one more time. He was like, you know, he don't believe that Derrick James can dictate whether Frank Martin take the fight or not. And I believe that's true. So if he is parting ways with Derrick James, then that would kind of, you know, that would kind of validate that claim, because if the conflict is that he needs to have a solid camp for the biggest opportunity of his career, and he doesn't want to duck the fight, which I don't see Frank Martin as a fighter that's ducking no smoke. I knew it probably had a lot to do with things going on behind the scenes on Frank Martin's side for the fact that he was quiet. You know what I mean? You don't want to try to expose your team, or in Frank Martin's case, even if he's having trouble with his team, that's all he got right now. You know what I'm saying? So if it was a conflict with the Errol Spence reactivating the rematch clause and maybe wanting to go into a pre-camp like Bud did for him, Ryan Garcia fights coming up, things like that, you know, Frank Martin got to do what he got to do if he want to take the fight. And I can respect that, man. Shout out to the Ghost, man. And, you know, shout out to Shakur, man. Stop vaping, bro. You too talented for that shit. Like, you get bored in between fights and just start sending out plenty fake smoke, man. Stop that shit, Shakur. You better than that, man. If you Frank Martin, it ain't nowhere to go but up. You know what I'm saying? If you Shakur, it ain't nowhere to go but forward. They gonna meet. They gonna have to meet, you know? But yeah, that's all I got for y'all today, man. Let me know what y'all think about all this in the comments about this whole thing going down, you know? And I need y'all to please remember this one thing. You can play games, but you can't play boxing. I'm gone.